What up brothers, it's Club King returning for another new review for my channel. I say a new review, it's an old figure. It's been kindly lent to me by Darren Harrety, a friend of mine on Facebook. He's asked me to review it again. I used to own this figure, but I never did a review on it. I'd sold it before I got around to reviewing it. I will say, the first time I had it, never liked it. There are a lot of things I didn't like about the figure. It looked good on the advertising pictures when I got it. I was very, very disappointed. One of the first figures I was disappointed with. That's why I welcome the chance to review it again, simply because it's a figure I've not reviewed, and it's one of 4 figures that I get asked about more than any other figure. I'll cover those figures in a minute, but I just want to say a massive thanks to Darren for lending me this figure. I will also say, if you watch my reviews only for the posers, I'm going to say this is the only pose I'm going to do, and I'll make that reason clear when I get to probably Articulation, why I'm not going to mess about with this figure. So let's crack straight on. I will say before I do, game time is in effect, so if you want to have a guess on the total score on this figure, you might be surprised actually with the score on this. Although, like I've just told you, I fucking hated the figure when I first had it, and not a great deal's changed if I'm being honest, but I'll cover that more. I will also compare it to the other Arnie figures. I will compare it to the Predator, just to show you, but like I said, I won't be reposing the figure because, basically, you just can't pose it well, I don't think, and that's the reason I won't be doing it. But anyway, let's crack straight on, talk about source material. As you know, it comes from the original 1987 Predator. I think it was 87, pretty sure it was 87. And I still think, aside from Terminator, it is Arnie's best film. I think it is classic as far as sci-fi goes, although not classic as in it's never going to rank highly among the greatest films of all time. But like I say, in this community, it would be the sort of film that most of us would love. I think he plays a good part in it. I think it is still the best Predator film. I don't mind the AVP films, and the more I watch 2, the more I like it, although I've still got to say Predator 1 is by far head and shoulders above any of the others. Arnie, as an actor, if you can call him an actor, I don't know, he is what he is. He's just an action star from the 80s and 90s. Again, he's never going to be Oscar nominated, he's not that good, but yeah, he is I don't know, in this community he does get a lot of love, and it's understandable why. On the source material, I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5. Like I say, it's never an all-time fucking top film classic, and not the genre that I'm particularly that into anyway, but like I say, on Arnie and the film, I'm going to give him a 4 out of 5. Rolling on to packaging. I'll start off by saying, as you see, it is a shot of the figure, so Hot Toys were buzzing about their head sculpt, as were I at the time. It were one of the, what I always class as the golden age of Hot Toys figures, where they pretty much went from kit figures, the Predators I'm thinking, where you had to put them together yourself, and you would only see a few reviews on YouTube, not many people were reviewing them. This is one of the figures that sort of blew it into orbit, so to speak, and were the first really good head sculpts. So you're talking around the time of this, probably Bank Robber Joker, the Godfather figure around this time, some others, before the DXs really got introduced, but the head sculpts were getting very, very accurate, coming away from sort of the Rocky figures, the First Blood figures. So yeah, the head sculpts were one of the strong points, and like I say, Hot Toys were obviously buzzing about it because they put it on the box. You see the box as a sideways design, so you would need to turn it upright to see the wording. Like I say, I think it's meant to be displayed like that. Around this time also, they did nearly always use the slip covers and then the box inside, and always used really thick ply card. That is the case with this, and it has a nice grain texture, a lot to like about it. I still like the packaging as much as I ever did. I will also show you another thing I always used to like about the Hot Toys boxes. The back always used to have the product shot, so a couple of poses of the figure, or from different angles, different looks, so on and so forth, and then a couple of shots of the accessories. So yeah, the box is still good, it stood the test of time, it's still in very good condition. Slight little mark there, but it's not what you would consider a dint or a ding. So yeah, the box has stood up well. Also worth a mention, when you take the slip cover off, you see this Predator Vision shot of the figure. and then as you open the panel to the window, more shots of the figure, and then obviously the window and the figure would be in there. So yeah, really nice box. I'm going to give it a 4 out of 5, simply because, like I said, it stood the test of time, and it's better than a lot of the newer boxes. Definitely better quality, and the artwork, Hot Toys were really proud of what they were doing. Rolling on to the likeness, and like I started out by saying, this was a golden age Hot Toys head sculpt. Really, really well. Everybody who got it really liked it, and were the best Arnie sculpt for quite a while. Not long after this, they released the first version of the Terminator 2, which I preferred to this, and then they obviously went on, did a couple of other versions, including the DX10 and the DX13. I think, again, the likeness has stood up really well. The fact that it has the face paint on, which I don't think is entirely accurate, but is a nice touch, and it differentiates it from the other Arnie head sculpts. A lot to like about it. If I can get in close, the eyes have nice depth. You see it has nice appearance of stubble. The haircut looks pretty accurate, and like I said, the face paint I don't think is totally accurate on it. Like I say, again, stood the test of time. It would display quite well, head sculpt wise. I think when they stuck the head onto the giraffe neck, it came across very, very pin-headed, or pea-headed, should I say. I know the reason the neck was so long is because it comes with a beige coloured shirt that has quite a big collar, so it would look accurate with that, because then obviously you put the waistcoat back on, so they gave it the long neck. They also did it with the Drago from Rocky for the same reason. He had a robe and a towel that went around his neck, but when the option is you can take them things off, the neck is just way too long and, I don't know, a little bit unsightly, so that does also lend to the likeness. Another thing, in hindsight, when I had it, the head sculpt was never a reason I sold it, but as time moves on, different things happen. Introduction of the DX13, which I think is the best 1/6 scale representation on it. Now, if you look at that sculpt, there's not much light on it, I will say. There is now, because I forgot to turn my camera light on. And that, obviously, is a better Arnie likeness. Moving across to the more battle damaged head, and we're just really looking at the clean side. Again, you can see that over the shoulder. It's not far behind it, but obviously techniques get better. The paint always gets better. So yeah, that's what happens. Time moves on. And you look at them two in the foreground, and then this pea-headed fucker in background. Still looks like Arnie. I'm not going to say it's not, but it's not as good as the DX13, obviously. But the likeness, I'm still going to give maybe a generous 4 out of 5. Rolling straight onto his outfit. And just to show you up and down him, and then move down to the shirt, which he does come in the box wearing. The shirt is quite nice, pretty accurate to the film, although it's a little bit too clean. The scale of it, it's too bulky, feels way too thick, doesn't ever lay to him flush or look right. And it sort of looks a bit too baggy on him. So I would never clean on the shirt. I never used to display mine with a shirt. And same with this. As soon as it come out of the box, pretty much took the shirt straight off. Another problem I always had with it, the feet look too small. They look like I don't know, too little to hold his body weight up. But I'll come back to that as well in a bit, because that was another reason I fucking hated it. But as you see, it has the military boots, which are hard sculpt. Moving up to the camo military trousers. Obviously see the straps down to the, if I turn it around, you'll see it has the knife, like a machete there, leading up to the pistol pouch on the side. A cargo style belt, then leading up, it does have another belt inside there. Inside the waistcoat or flak jacket, you see the camo vest. Then the waistcoat with the leather effect shoulders, you see, which goes round to a lace up kind of design at the back. See the vest more as well. Pretty nice looking and pretty accurate. Like I said, a couple of things I don't like, namely the boots and the shirt, but all in all, it does look pretty good. As well, I'll just mention the gloves on the hands are sculpted, and there is quite quite a depth between the edge of the glove and where the wrist peg goes in, so it does hinder the articulation a little bit around the hands, because if you do pose them, you find that the sculpt here pushes into the soft rubber on the arm. So again, another thing worth mentioning. All in all, it's good. Like I said before, only thing the nitpicks would be the little feet and also the tall collar on the shirt, meaning that they had to put on the giraffe neck. If they'd have had him always without the shirt, I suppose they could have made the neck a more accurate length, but that is just a niggly nitpick. On the outfit itself, the quality is good, the accuracy is really good, so yeah, I'll give the outfit a 4 out of 5. Moving on to the articulation and the body as a whole. Now this is the reason I sold the figure. Simply because, let me start, the neck, like I've said, always hated it. The upper body is all soft rubber, although there is a separation between the torso and the upper arm, so it does help the articulation a little bit through the arm. The arm bend I never liked. It just made it look really, really awkward. I think the quality of the rubber was, I don't know, too bulky, too squidgy. I don't know, just never liked it. Nowhere near as good as something like a Leonidas. We're out around about the same time. No detail on it, no paintwork to speak of. And the worst crime of all, gives you a two-handed rifle and you've got to have a fucking PhD in posing figures to be able to pose it two-handed. Or you can have it sort of low slung two-handed, but try and bring it up like he's firing a rifle and it's not having none of it. That is the main reason I got rid of it. I fucking hated it. Well, that's probably the second reason I got rid of it. Also, just to mention, from the waist down, it's just a standard true type underneath and a little bit slim looking. Nowhere near bulky enough thighs for Arnie. Boots go into an ankle peg and so on and so forth. Not really worth talking about. Just all you need to know is very little articulation above the waist and then standard from the waist down on a slim true type. Like I said, neck is too long, goes onto a ball joint, which also hinders the articulation of the head. The head hardly moves. The neck is cack-man-do, no tilt forward, just looks wrong to me. The main reason that I sold it, number one reason, was the scale. It was well under scale to everything else. The next figure I bought after this was the Rambo First Blood Part 3. And when you stood them next to each other, if you go back to my really, really old videos, one of my first done, they stood next to each other. And Rambo were about a centimetre taller than Arnie were, which is totally inaccurate, as we all know. It was just way too small. So if you look at it, compare with that, fair enough. The Terminator 1 is on a slightly elevated base, but it's the bulk more than anything. He's too skinny from the waist down, and then, I don't know, he's pea-headed. Just all wrong. I know the reason they did it too. The first release of the Predator were well undersized, so then they had to bring him in even smaller to make him look accurate with the Predator, which again they didn't achieve because the Predator was still too small. I've got the classic Predator, which is slightly bigger than the original Pred 1, and it's still, the scale is still out. It's stood slightly higher, and the size difference is still not enough for my eye. So it were wrong to that, it were wrong to other humans, and like I said, I ain't got the Terminator that come out now. The T2 came out after Predator, and they were the next Arnie I bought, and when I used to stand at the side of it, to say what same person, I used to get an effect somewhat like this. Fucking hell, can they be the same person? Look at width on that, bulk through legs, even foot size is totally different, and it just made my collection as a whole look shit. So that is, I've always hated the body. The articulation wise, it will move, it won't do nothing dynamic, so forget about that. To score it, I'm going to give it a 2 out of a possible 5, which is a generous 2 as well. I will also say, I started out the review saying this were from Golden Age Hot Toys, and one of the 4 most, I get asked about 20 questions a day. Is it, can I point something in the right direction for someone? What do I think about this? Will I do this? Can I help them with that? What price is this? All that sort of thing. I get it day after day after day, and I pretty much copy and paste answers. Now, this, Leonidas, Hellboy and Blade are the 4 most asked about figures ever to me. Probably up there with them would be the DX12, but that would be down to the modification I'd done. Straight out of the packaging, these are the most asked figures. Now I'm going to tell you, this, I fucking hate it. I would never own. In fact, if Darren Harrety sent me a message today and said, you can keep that figure, I would say, thanks a lot, Darren, but if you don't mind, I'm going to put some on thing and I'm going to do a competition and let somebody else win it, because I do not want that in my collection. That is how I feel about it. L-Boy had exactly the same problem as this. Awesome looking figure, well undersized, totally undersized to the point you've got to mod it to make it look in scale with other figures. Stiff rubber upper body that basically won't pose or won't look natural. Blade, I still think is an awesome figure. That is got to be the figure to get from around this time still. Although I will say on Blade, if you really look and study Blade, that head sculpt is not as accurate as everybody thinks it is. It's now showing its date, so that's what I would say on Blade. And Leonidas is a nice looking bodysuit, again, a bitch to pose, don't bring enough stuff with it, and when you stand it in your cabinet, because it's basically a man in his pants with a red towel over his shoulder, there's a little bit of a gay feel around it. So that is how I feel on them 4 figures. What I would say is let the past be the past and step up, because there's a lot more better figures than them 4 I've just mentioned. But like I said, to go back to what I said about the body, I'm giving it a 2 out of a possible 5. Rolling on to extras. What does he bring with him? We move down. So the first things he's got on, you see he's got the 2 grenades on the hooks on his vest, and then moving down I've took all his knives and guns out. Just show you obviously the shirt what I showed earlier, the generic stand. This is the exclusive part. I don't think it's the exclusive set, but somebody's obviously bought this separate, and it is the helicopter headset, which is a nice touch. Not really worth taking it out of the packaging because there's not a display worthwhile of doing it, but it is a nice addition. But the original set didn't bring that. I just want to make that clear. Moving across to the machine gun with the undercarriage grenade launcher. Nicely done, nice wording on it. There's obviously moving parts like there normally is. You get the Rambo style knife. You then get the longer, slimmer knife that goes on the side of his boot. The sidearm, cigar, and only 1 spare hand. Now, another thing that pisses me off, you get accessories. In fact, I'll show you this knife, and there's no hand that will hold that knife. Fucking pisses me right off. I think put another hand in if you've put an accessory in. They never did it, and it used to be common theme in figures from this time. They gear loads of stuff and then no natural way of fucking displaying them, so that always used to piss me off. It don't bring a lot of stuff. Like I said, it didn't include that. Very of its time again, I suppose. I sound like I'm fucking hammering it, but I'm just basically telling you why I didn't like the figure and why I still don't like it now. On the extras, I'm only giving it a 2 out of 5. Right, rolling on to value, and I will start off by saying I did send Darren a message just to ask him what he would score the value. Obviously, he's bought the figure, he obviously wanted it. I don't know what he's paid for it because he's not answered me back at the point when I'm filming the value. So I'm going to tell you as I see it. I saw this figure come out for about £120, £130, which today, if you could get one for that price, I would say then your value would be pretty good, because you get a figure that most people are wanting to buy at a less than average price now. I think I paid somewhere around that for it, if I'm honest. It might have been a little bit less, I can't remember without going back to review. At that, I would have probably given it a 3 out of 5, because it don't bring a lot of stuff and it's not much bang for the buck, and I rapidly disliked it after I'd got it. I bought this instead of buying the original Pred 1, then regretted it, got rid of this, bought the Pred 1, and by then the Pred 1 had gone through the roof, so I paid out fucking fruit nose for Pred 1. I should have fucked this figure off, fucked off Billie, other one they released, and just got the Pred 1. I didn't do that. Now, I've also seen this figure go up as high as like £400 at times. I think now it probably goes for between 200 and 300, which is a fucking steal, I've got to be honest. Anybody who's paying that for it must really love this film, because this figure is not all that. And I'm going to say, I don't know what Darren paid for it, but whatever I would have paid for it, it would have always felt a little bit too much. So for that reason, I'm giving the value a 1 out of 5. That might sound harsh, but that is how I feel. Now let's go to the phone and have a look at the scores. It's not took me long to film this, so there shouldn't be a lot of comments. Right, eyes down, look in. Who guessed 21 out of possible 35? This is what I put. Game time. Correctly guessed the total score for a shout out in the review. One guess each. That's for a few people who tried to cheat on the Chitari thing. So if you have more than one guess, you're not getting the shout out. I've got to be strict because I don't want same person guessing every fucking number from 1 to 35. So that's why I do it. So we'll scroll down, look out for your names, look out for who's got 21. I think, I'll say this as well, I think some of the people that have got this figure would be more likely to score it higher than I have, but I've got to score it as I see it. Andrew Cook, here we go. He's scored one right other day. It's Darth Vader's helmet looking at internet. Well done, brother. You're a clever lad. You're not as clever as me, but you're not far off. You're doing well. I didn't see your guess on Chitari. I might have just missed it, but Andrew Cook has got it right again. Keep thinking like me. And like I said, there might be a job opportunity coming up. Keep looking at... Right, he's fucked up. I love you, Uncle Clipper. Thank you. I love you too. Oh. Like fucking... You remember when Michael Jackson used to be on award shows and that? You have people shouting, I love you. And you're like, I love you. Oh, that bollocks. You don't love him, you don't know him. It's a fucking myth. Have a look. Here we go. Oh, see, I cheated this time. He's going fucking right. Daniel Hernandez. I'm sure these three brothers. You'll see other two pop up in a minute. He's got it right this time. If he guesses again in a minute, he's getting fucking blocked. He's cheated on last turn. He did. Fucking cheated. I don't think he fully gets the situation. I'll have a think about it. Let's have a look. Oh, wrong. Ooh, close, pal, close. Keep working at it, and you'll get there one day. Here we go, still rolling. Look, brother number 2. Watch out for the next one. Oh, he's told his brother. He's told him he got it right, and he's telling him way too high. He fucking knows. Slap him if you fucking with him. And if he guesses again in a minute, I shall not be happy. Let's keep rolling. Keep rolling. Here we go. These are two out. Fucking hell, it's not that bad a figure, my friend. Me duck. 24, me duck. Wrong. Bitch. No. Come on. Who else has got 21? Come on. Fucking hell. Get a grip. Twig it. That is it, my friends. You got your shout outs. Thanks again for playing. Thanks for watching the review. Thanks to Darren Harrety for lending me this figure. I'm glad I got to do it again and get the HD treatment. It probably weren't worth it, to be honest, because I've just crucified a golden age figure. But that's how Uncle fucking Clipper does it. Don't you worry about that flower. But for now, I'm out of here.